Hello and a very warm morning to all my dear UPC aspirants there. Welcome to Sindhuja's daily news analysis. So today we are going to discuss on the editorial topic bonded labor in India. Okay. So about bonded labor. Recently, why this came in news? Because 15 bonded laborers were rescued by the district administration of Guna in Madhya Pradesh. That means these laborers were exposed to torture and inhuman treatment by their employer. Now, let's look into the key areas or basics regarding what a bonded labor is. See, bonded labor means it's a type of a malpractice in which employers, like they give high interest loans to workers who work at low wages to pay off the debt. Now, the bonded labor was historically associated with rural economics, like in the case of peasants from disadvantaged communities where they were born to work for the landlords. Now, bonded labor is found to exist in both urban and rural pockets in unorganized industries such as stone quarries, brick kilns, coal mining, agriculture labor, etc., and even sexual slavery. Now, the Supreme Court of India has given the definition of bonded labor as the payment of wages that are below the prevailing market wages and legal minimum wages. Now, as far as India is concerned, India has ratified the ILO Abolition of Forced Labour Convention 1957. Then India tries to improve its rank in the Global Slavery Index, that is 53rd out of 167 countries in the year 2018. Now, India is trying to end its modern slavery by 2030 under the Sustainable Development Goal Target 8.7, where it mentions about ending forced labor, child labor and human trafficking. Let's look in detail the constitutional provisions relating to this particular thing. The constitutional provisions or articles associated with this bonded labor includes Article 21, which deals with the right to life and personal liberty, Article 23, which prohibits forced labor, Article 24, which prohibits the employment of children below the age of 14 years in factories, etc., and Article 39, which directs a state to secure the health and strength of workers, men and women, and to see the tender age of children are not abused, and that citizens are not forced by economic necessity, unsuited for the jobs as per the age of strength. Now, there are certain laws or legislations associated with this bonded labor. Let's look into detail all those things. First one is Central Sector Scheme for Rehabilitation of Bonded Laborers of the year 2016, whereby the financial assistance to the extent of rupees 3 lakhs is provided to released bonded laborers along with other non-cash assistance for their livelihood. Second one is Bonded Labor System Abolition Act of the year 1976. What does this act prescribe? The act extends to the whole of India but implemented by respective state governments. This act provides for an institutional mechanism at the district level in the form of vigilance committees. Now, what is the role of these vigilance committees? Vigilance committees advise district magistrate so that the provisions of this act are properly implemented or not. They have to have a check on it. Then the state governments or UTs may confer on an executive magistrate where the powers of a judicial magistrate of the first class or second class for the trial of offences under this act. Next one is reasons for the continuing of this bonded labor. First one is low conviction rates. Second one, migratory nature of bonded labor. Third one, lack of awareness among workers and employers. Fourth one, social bias towards bonded labor. Fifth one, weaker implementation of bonded labor system or Abolition Act 1976. Sixth one, lack of proper coordination at the national and regional level and among governments. And seventh one, punishment for forced labor. As per section 374 of IPC, unlawful compulsory labor is not appropriate. Now, what are the measures needed to end this bonded labor? First one is efficient rehabilitation of rescued victims to prevent them from being forced into bonded labor again. Like productive and income generating schemes must be brought up in advance. Otherwise, they can again fall into this trap of bonded labor. Okay. Then organizing national campaigns to provide information to the public as to give them an awareness as how to report and identify victims of bonded labor. Then we have to popularize a national child hotline which is partly supported by Ministry of Women and Child Development, and a national helpline should come for trafficking victims run by Operation Red Alert. So these are some of the measures which we need to do or implement so that we can end bonded labor. Then regarding code on wages, in today's article something related to code on wages was given. What is that thing? See, recently the government proposed rules to the Code of Wages Act in the year 2019, where a well-designed minimum wage system can reduce inequalities in incomes, bridge gender gaps in wages and alleviate poverty. Now, informal workers account for 93% of the total working population and they contribute to over 60% of India's GDP, 60%. That's why the new wage code will have the potential to influence the lives of around crores of workers in the country. Now, what is the need for this new code on wages? See, we know this new code on wages will certainly lead to more formalization of the economy. Then, in a country like India, labor market preys on excess availability of workers. Therefore, workers are not able to demand fair minimum wages and continue their life to a well-established manner. So, in India, labor laws fall in the concurrent list and are extremely complicated. Therefore, there was a need to bring reform by addressing some of the issues like multiple definition of wages, low wages, etc. Thus, an effective minimum wage policy that targets the vulnerable bottom of wage earners can help in bringing them up and strengthen the middle class, and it can thus lead to a phase of sustainable and inclusive growth. Now, not only this, minimum wages can promote social justice without any major negative implication for employment if wages are set at an adequate level. Now, I will mention some points regarding the Code on Wages Act 2019. See, this new wage code removes a multiplicity of wage definitions, which can reduce the litigation as well as complaints cost for employers. Then it seeks to ensure right to sustenance for every worker and intends to increase the legislative protection of minimum wage. Then a national floor level minimum wage will be set by the centre and will be revised every 5 years, while states will fix the minimum wages for the regions which cannot be lower than the floor wage. And this particular Wages Act subsumes the following four labor laws, that is the Payment of Wages Act 1936, Minimum Wages Act 1948, Payment of Bonus Act 1965 and the Equal Remuneration Act 1976. Now there are types of wages that also we will discuss. There are 4 types of wages. First one is starvation wage. Starvation wage means it refers to the wages which are insufficient to provide the ordinary necessities of life. Then comes the next type, fair wage. A fair wage is a mean between living wage and minimum wage. Third type is living wage. It is the wage needed to provide the minimum income necessary to pay for basic needs based on the cost of living in a specific community. And last type is minimum wage. About minimum wage, ILO or International Labour Organization has given a definition. It goes like this. Minimum wage is the minimum amount of remuneration that an employer is required to pay wage earners for the work performed during a given period, which cannot be reduced by collective agreement or an individual contract. So these are the 4 types of wages prevailing. Then what are the concerns of new wage code? The concerns involve, first one is deduction of wages clause. See, the new law provides for the arbitrary deduction of wages up to 50% of monthly wage based on performance, damage or loss, advances, etc. Then starvation wages. That is the next concern. It has been alleged that the new wage code will push the starvation wages further by increasing the income capacity and the purchasing power of the informal workers. Okay, that means increase in purchasing power of the workers will lead to the decrease in savings, which in turn will reduce expenditure for productive purposes. Then one case was there, one judgment is there, that is the Raptakos case, RAPTAKOS case in the year 1991. The Supreme Court advocated the concept and the right of living wage, whereby Consumer Expenditure Survey results shows that the average family expenditure in rural areas to be rupees 83 per day and in urban areas to be rupees 134 per day. Okay. Then regarding the next concern is regarding inspection framework. See, the rules do not clarify the governance and institutional structure for labor inspection system. That means in terms of this inspection scheme, the rules had an unclear mechanism. Okay, then what are the way forward regarding this Code Wages Act? See, the National Commission for Labour should be formed to streamline the issues and challenges of labour market. Okay, then the government should focus on need-based minimum wage covering certain aspects like education, housing, nutrition, etc. and provisions of old age. That means guaranteed minimum wage should be treated as a fundamental constitutional right of every citizen of India. Then according to the new law, the revision of minimum wages is to be done after 5 years, which I think is quite a long period for considering the volatility in the market. Therefore, minimum wages should be adjusted to inflation so as to align the wages to market volatility. Thus, for the minimum wage system to play a meaningful role in aligning protection with the promotion of sustainable growth, it must be properly designed. Enforcement should be effective and its objectives should be clearly mentioned. Okay, so that's all regarding this particular topic. Hope this concept and this article was very clear to you all. Wait for the next part 2 session which will be uploaded shortly. So please do like, share and subscribe this piece of daily news analysis to all the UPSC beginners, the aspirants who are preparing newly. So stay safe, take care, bye.